Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric and Chad here with Iraq Veteran 8888, and we've got another gun gripe episode for you today. Lots of gripes, lots of things to complain about, and that's what we're doing here today. And recently, the Supreme Court has granted an exemption, to the parents of Sandy Hook to be able to sue Remington, as well as other gun manufacturers for these things. And this is a very far-reaching thing that I feel has very dangerous consequences, and we need to discuss it, okay? So we're going to get into it a bit. We definitely want to take a moment to thank the folks at SDI for supporting Gun Gripes, allowing these to be raw, unfiltered, straight from the heart. They have excellent gunsmithing programs, definitely a great group of people to look into. Check them out. They're a partner of Gun Gripes, and they've supported us, and we really thank them for it. Let's get after this a bit, Chad. So, basically, the Lawful Commerce Act.
Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act passed in 2005.
Right. This act that he's talking about makes it where you can't sue gun manufacturers for
dealers, distributors.
Yeah. Nobody along the chain of from manufacturing the gun all the way to selling the gun can be sued if the gun is used in an improper fashion. Now, one of the things we always look at, right, is when you buy a firearm, you have to have a trigger lock now. Every single gun that goes out the door has to have a child-proof lock, okay? That's a law. Even if you sell a used gun, you're supposed to send a trigger lock out.
That came down the same time frame as the other law did.
And you look at these manuals, right? When you look up a gun manual, what do you see? All this different lawyer talk. Safety this, safety that. Don't do this, don't do that. This will kill you, that'll kill you. They cover their butts.
What's the word of the day?
Cover your butt.
Liability.
Liability. Okay, so it's a huge thing. All right, remember when we did our gun gripe where we talked about lawyer banners on guns, right? They even stamp it on the gun. A manual is available free from blah, 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 Ruger.com.
Danger.
Warning, giant warning that they put right on the side of the gun. So they have made very, very conscious and genuine efforts, and almost annoyingly so to the consumer of a firearm, to make sure that their guns are not used in a manner inconsistent with their manufacturer, right? So imagine if a drunk driver went out and hurt somebody in a Ford Mustang or whatever. Let's just use Ford as an example, all right? Ford Mustang killed somebody in a drunk driving incident. Would it be fair that Ford gets sued for the misuse of their vehicle? Of course not. That's crazy. If that were the case, if people could sue car manufacturers for damages or death that occurred from the misuse of that vehicle, do you realize what the prices of cars would be? Because you think they're going to eat that cost and go, well, we're just going to move on with life. No, they're going to pass that cost on to the consumer. That is why this is so dangerous. Okay, for one, it's going to cost Remington millions of dollars to fight it. All right, these antis are well funded. They have tons of money. So of course, the anti-gun establishment is going to pump money into these lawsuits from the side of the parents. And really the victim of this entire situation, even beyond the gun manufacturers, who obviously are going to have to bear a horrible financial brunt that will get passed on to the consumers.
Absolutely.
The real victim are the parents, because they're being taken advantage of. The emotions that are going through their mind are being taken advantage of and manipulated by these evil people who want to take guns out of the hands of honest civilians. It's sad that an emotional response is drawn from these people who obviously, I want to hug them myself. It's tragic. No person should have to lose a child to violence. No one will disagree with that. Nobody on any side of the camp of guns thinks that a child deserves to get hurt with anything, much less a gun. I think we can all agree there. The problem is the emotional response that's drawn from these people to make them want to do these things, and those poor parents are being manipulated by the anti-gunners to try to take freedom from other people by way of creating a precedence that is set in court that then can be taken and go, well, this gun manufacturer was sued and we won, so now we need to open the floodgates and sue everybody. It goes right back. I'm sorry, I'm sorry I'm long-winded.
I'm holding this thought.
I'm sorry, I'm long-winded.
You're good.
But quickly, it makes this whole Operation Choke Point thing go full circle. And we did a gripe on this years back. We tried to warn you guys. Operation Choke Point is a real thing. Having businesses and banks blacklist the gun community and deny goods and services to them. Bear in mind, a constitutionally protected right, a form of commerce that is related to a constitutionally protected right at that. And this whole choke point thing has gone full circle. Banks deny loans and deny accounts to gun manufacturers, then all the way up to now we need to sue these people out of existence and make them spend even more money that they probably don't have because Remington's probably been operating in the red for the last 5 years anyway.
Freedom Group.
All right. I'm coming down off the soapbox. I'm sorry, Chad. I had to get that out of my mind.
So like the major issue that I have with this, is that a Supreme Court in Connecticut is making an exception to a federally mandated law. That is not good. Not good. Not good. We can just say, okay, well, we're going to make an exception to the law. You don't do that! The law is the law!
These people swear an oath to protect the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. They're spitting in the face of the people that administered that oath of office to them. This is not the way our country runs. It's not fair at all.
The Protection in Lawful Commerce in Arms Act is a very common sense law, okay? If it wasn't in place, the gun industry would have been sued numerous times.
Out of existence,
yeah,
likely.
They would have been sued into oblivion. And people like Bloomberg would have been on their high horse and they would be waving their flags from the top of the hill.
With their billions of dollars in sacks.
Yes.
Dude, Bloomberg's business makes $8 billion annually. He is a multi-billionaire that will fund any bit of anti-gun legislation that he can get his hands on.
And lobbying efforts and everything.
He has already announced that he's potentially going to make a 2020 run. Something to consider. That's scary. That's a separate video. But dude, Bloomberg, guys like him, they have so much money they can buy everybody off.
It's like an endless, it's an endless supply of cash to fund lobbying groups. And here we are trying to, get folks to support GOA and donate a few dollars to help support grassroots efforts in multiple states and then on a federal level. And it's so difficult.
Our financial contributions that gun owners can make at a grassroots level pales in comparison. Like the width of this cell phone, okay?
I love the visual references.
Yeah. All right, look at this entire table in terms of the surface area. Look at the surface area that the top of this cell phone takes up on this table. This is what we can raise. This is what they have access to right now on tap. Billions with a B.
Bloomberg, Soros, you name it. But it's just insanity. This can kind of be infectious into other industries as well. Like Eric mentioned, cars. Okay, well, there's more people killed with baseball bats and hammers. So what are you gonna do? Start going after like
Louisville Slugger?
Yeah, you're gonna go after DeWalt for the hammers that they make, or S-Wing. You're gonna go after Cutco.
Yeah.
So-and-so was murdered with a Benchmade.
A Cutco steak knife.
Where does it end? Where does the insanity end?
Our society just swims in litigation, and that is a scary part of. Now we are a country of laws, and we are a country of rule of law, and we have we have a legal system that is very. Sometimes a little unfair and sometimes doesn't really make sense, right? Like, there's a lot of things that don't make sense within our legal system. We don't have a justice system. We have a legal system. It's a completely different thing. There's no equity there, right? You're going in, Lady Justice is blind. She don't give a crap. All she cares about is the law, and the law is what the law is. So having a nation of laws, I guess, can be kind of good depending on how you look at it, but can also be taken a lot of different ways because those laws are subject to interpretation. The people that are put into office, the people that run for these positions, you become a judge, you become a district attorney. These people have a tendency to want to, interpret the law in a way that benefits their political motives and not so much what it really should be. That's the danger of these situations, is that if this gets in front of a court of people that are incredibly biased against the firearms industry, well, then of course they're going to say, oh, you guys are culpable for the loss of these people and you should pay them millions of dollars. Look, no amount of money can bring a loved one back, okay? It's not a money thing, but it will become a money thing because, unfortunately, money is what makes companies operate. You have to have capital. And the ultimate goal is not about getting someone paid for the loss of a loved one. It's about removing the money from the company so that they'll go under, and that's one less gun company. And they're going to use it as a means to wage war against the gun industry as a whole.
All right, so let me tell you how they did this, how they got around the law. All right, so the decision lets stand a groundbreaking ruling from the Connecticut Supreme Court that said the manufacturer of the Bushmaster AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle that can be sued and potentially held liable for the 2012 massacre in Newtown, Connecticut.
Alleged massacre.
Alleged. All right, so let's see. The Supreme Court declined to review the ruling without comment from any individual justice. The lawsuit was brought by the estates of 9 victims.
Yeah, don't mention that turd's name.
No, we're not gonna let him live in infamy. All right. All right. The narrow state court decision limited liability for gun makers based on how they advertise their firearms rather than on the sale to third parties who go on to commit crimes. In its ruling, the court said companies that market military-style guns to civilians as a way of killing enemies could be violating state fair trade laws. So, state fair trade laws is how the Supreme Court is working around
So
this.
essentially it's a loophole. So they're claiming, oh, well, we're not interfering with state commerce or, state-to-state commerce
Interstate
or whatever.
commerce,
Interstate commerce. They're not interfering with that. They're saying, oh, well, the way that you advertise these things was consistent with encouraging people to buy these for the purposes of harming people.
Yep. So, firearms company Remington had convinced a lower court that federal law prevented the family's lawsuit. That's the Protection of Lawful Commerce and Arms Act. But Connecticut's High Court said that the law had exceptions and that one of them was meant for state consumer protection laws. So we'll see. This is really fresh.
It's sketchy too.
We'll see. I mean, and give you guys updates on what happens. If this winds up going to court and the whole 9 yards. But
this is very fresh right now. This is like 2 hours off the press.
What's the word on the street? It's like this sets a dangerous precedence.
It does.
I mean,
it does. Look, it's always a series of slippery slopes. It's always a series of dangerous mountain cliffs. It's always a series of lemmings jumping over a cliff and expecting you to hold their hand and fall off with them for no good reason.
Is it like some of those roads that they have in the mountains in India?
Yes. Yes, it's one of those deals where like half the tire's off the edge, and then there's like a disproportionate amount of people on one side of the bus wanting to look over the side, and then all of a sudden
there's a car coming this way,
crashing down, crashing down. So that's the issue. It's very sketchy. It's very troubling. And it sets forth a very, very dangerous precedent, as we said. So thank you so much for watching today. We hope you enjoyed this video. We wanted to put this out there to let more people, be in tune and know what's going on. Guys, we have to keep our ear to the ground like little Indian brave warriors. We have to know when the buffalo are coming. And guys, they are coming. And they're not happy. We have to be ready to move, to make a move, to protect ourselves against these people. Because ultimately, it's not what they're trying to accomplish that makes it such a difficult and horrible thing, because any person wants justice, right? If someone feels that they've been wrongly done, they probably, at least have a feeling that they deserve justice. This isn't about whether someone deserves justice or not. This is about the underlying reasons for it even to happen in the first place, and that's because they support tyranny. They want people to be disarmed. The giant picture is what's at stake here, not just a lawsuit. This isn't merely a lawsuit. This is a very disturbing picture that's being created for people that live within the realms of the Second Amendment community, right? Most people, and I'm pretty sure you're not going to run into a person within the gun community or that's simply just a gun owner that's indifferent about the gun industry. You're not going to find one of those people that's going to say, well, them pesky kids got what they deserved. Of course not. No one thinks that. There's not a person alive in this country that wants to see anyone hurt. It's the opposite. We want to protect everyone. White, black, Mexican, Asian. We don't care. Jew, Muslim, Christian. We don't care. You have the right to self-preservation. And that's all that matters here, is you protecting yourself. Whatever your means need to be, whatever reason you need to protect yourself, find that reason and get yourself a gun and defend your castle. That's all that the gun industry wants, is to protect the country at large and the citizens within it. And they don't care what your views are. As long as you want to arm yourself, they're there to provide the tools to free people. And that is where we're concerned, is that this could limit the access of tools to people who simply want to live free and protect their communities and their families. All people in this country. Not Republican, not Democrat, not Libertarian. All of those politics go out the door. Identity politics are irrelevant here. The Second Amendment doesn't care. So that's the big thing about it. Even my dogs agree.
Well, remember too, guys, that there's a lot of things that go on in the country that you don't see on a regular basis on the mainstream media. There are people every single day, almost to the hour, that are using guns to protect themselves or their loved ones, either at home or in public, that you will never hear about.
That's right.
Just think about that.
That's right. Be a force multiplier within your community. Everything will be okay. Yep. Don't worry. Just trust in yourself. Trust in your friends and your family, your community. Trust in whatever badge you fly, whatever flag you fly, whatever banner you hold. And trust in that and protect yourself.
For the love of Pete, logic and common sense.
That's
people.
right. Guys, thanks for watching today. We hope you enjoyed this video yet again. Thank you so much for the support. Those of you who purchase man cans, t-shirts over on the website, go over to Ballistic Ink, pick yourself up a snazzy tee.
Oh, where's my...
there you go.
Ballistic
And I'm wearing a Military Arms Channel shirt.
Hey, brother!
Whatever creator that you go over and purchase a t-shirt on their section of Ballistic Ink, you're supporting that creator, which is awesome. It's a great way to support all your favorite content creators. So go over to Ballistic Ink, pick yourself up a t-shirt. If you love what we do and you want to support us, go over on Patreon, donate a few bucks, purchase a man can, piece of cutlery, maybe a t-shirt. There's lots of ways you can contribute to our efforts. So thank you so much for watching. Many more videos on the way. See you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.